long before people feared the name Aisha Kandisha, long before travelers avoided lonely rivers after sunset, long before parents lowered their voices when telling stories about beautiful women who appeared beside the water. There was a village, and there was a river, and there was a girl who could not stop asking questions. The village was called Douar Tazrout, a small place hidden among rocky hills and olive groves, where the morning smelled of wood smoke and damp earth. The sort of place where everyone knew everyone. The sort of place where secrets rarely survived, or so people believed. But some secrets survive precisely because everyone agrees not to speak of them. The greatest secret in Douar Tazrout was not buried beneath the ground. It flowed quietly beside the village every day. The river, Oued Tislit. The old people never pointed toward it after sunset. Children were warned not to play near it at night. Even shepherds hurried home before darkness settled over its banks. And when strangers asked why, the villagers always answered the same way. It's just an old story. Yet they never smiled when they said it, and they never looked toward the water, especially not after dark. Aisha had noticed this long ago. She noticed many things, even as a child, especially as a child, because before the river became a mystery, her mother had become one. Aisha remembered very little now, only fragments. A hand brushing through her hair, a song hummed while preparing bread, the scent of orange blossoms, a laugh, a voice, small pieces of a person, like broken pottery scattered across memory. She had been only 8 years old when her mother disappeared. One morning she was there, the next she wasn't. No farewell, no explanation, no body, no grave, nothing. People searched for 3 days, then 4, then 7. Some followed the river, others climbed the hills. A few wandered farther into the valley. Nobody found her. Eventually the searching stopped, the questions stopped, the conversations stopped. Only Aisha continued. For years, she asked everyone the same thing. What happened to my mother? The answers changed. Some said she drowned. Others said she lost her way. Some simply shook their heads, but none of them sounded convincing, not even to themselves. And so a strange thing happened. The village began forgetting, not completely, just enough that people stopped speaking her mother's name, enough that old stories became shorter, enough that silence grew where memories once lived. Aisha hated that silence, because silence felt like betrayal. If her mother was gone, she deserved to be remembered. If she was dead, she deserved a grave. If she was alive, then someone was hiding the truth. As the years passed, that question settled inside Aisha's heart, like a stone. It never left. Not when she grew older. Not when other girls spoke about marriage. Not when seasons changed. Not when life moved forward. The stone remained, heavy, unanswered, waiting. 12 years later, Aisha was no longer a child. Yet some nights, she still sat beside the small window of her room, staring toward the valley, toward the river, toward the place where the mystery had begun. Those were the nights Si Idris worried most. Her father rarely spoke about his wife. The grief had hollowed him from the inside, like water slowly carving stone. There had been a time when he searched every corner of the valley, a time when he slept beside the river, hoping for answers, a time when he refused to accept her disappearance. But time is patient. Time wears down even the strongest people. Now he avoided the subject whenever possible, not because he had forgotten, because remembering hurt too much. Sometimes Aisha wondered which was worse, losing someone or surviving long enough to stop looking. That evening, the sky burned orange above the hills. The last light of day painted the valley in gold. Aisha stood outside their home watching shepherds return with their animals. Among them was Youssef, her childhood friend. He raised a hand when he saw her, She returned the gesture. Youssef had spent most of his life in the hills. If anyone knew the valley better than Aisha, it was him. He often tried convincing her to leave the past alone. Not because he didn't care, because he did, and because he feared where her questions might lead. "You were near the river again." Aisha glanced toward him. "Maybe. You always say maybe. Because you always ask." Youssef sighed. "The old people don't like it. The old people don't like many things. They especially don't like that." Aisha smiled faintly. "The river won't hurt me." Youssef didn't smile back. That surprised her. For a moment he seemed genuinely uneasy, as though he wanted to say something. Instead he simply shook his head. "Just be careful." Then he continued down the path toward the village. Aisha watched him disappear between clay houses. The warning lingered. Not because it frightened her, because it sounded sincere, as if something in the valley had begun changing. Night arrived slowly. The first stars appeared. Lanterns glowed behind windows. Families gathered for evening meals. And once again the river flowed silently through the darkness. Nothing seemed unusual. Nothing seemed different. Yet somewhere deep inside her, Aisha felt restless, as though she were waiting for something she could not name. Later that night she stepped outside. The air was cool. The village slept. Only distant dogs broke the silence. For several moments she stood beneath the stars, listening. Then she heard it. A sound. Faint. So faint she almost mistook it for the wind. A melody. Beautiful. Impossible. Aisha froze. The sound drifted across the valley, slow, mournful, ancient, like a song remembered by the earth itself. The melody lasted only a few seconds before fading away. Then silence returned. Aisha waited, her heart pounding. Had she imagined it? The song returned, clearer this time, and now she knew exactly where it came from. The river, Oued Tislit. Every instinct told her to go back inside. Every warning from childhood echoed in her mind. The old women, the stories, the fear. Yet curiosity had guided her entire life. Curiosity had carried her through years of unanswered questions. Curiosity had kept her searching when everyone else stopped. And now curiosity pulled her toward the water. The valley seemed strangely still as she followed the narrow path. No insects, no wind, no rustling leaves, only the distant song. The closer she came, the more beautiful it became. Not frightening, not threatening, sad, profoundly sad, as though someone were singing for something lost, or someone. Aisha reached the riverbank. Moonlight shimmered across black water. Silver ripples drifted through darkness. The song stopped. Instantly, the silence that followed felt enormous. She stood motionless, listening, waiting. Nothing, only the river, only moonlight, only darkness. For a moment she felt foolish. Perhaps there had never been a song. Perhaps exhaustion had played tricks on her mind. Perhaps. "Aisha." The voice came from beneath the water. Her breath caught. Every muscle in her body froze. The river remained calm. No figure appeared. No face emerged. Only darkness beneath the surface. Then the voice spoke again. Gentle, patient, as though continuing a conversation interrupted years ago. "Aisha." The sound carried no threat, no anger, no malice, only certainty, as though whatever lived beneath the river had known her name for a very long time. The moon reflected across the water. The valley held its breath, and somewhere beneath Oued Tislit, something awakened.